Okay, welcome to a beginning Photoshop. We're working in Classroom in a Book CS6. We're working on lesson number 6, Mask and Channels. We're going to take this model, this guy, and we're going to separate him from his background, and we're going to create a magazine, the artwork for a magazine cover. And that's what we're going to create in lesson 6. In lesson 7, we're going to create the whole, put this together with type and create the whole magazine cover. But so for this, what we're going to do is this end result, we're going to have this character separated, put it on a new background. We're going to use the warp puppet tool to bend his head back a little bit and then create a shadow behind him. And so we'll get started with this. So the first thing we want to do is make a selection of the character so we can separate him from this background. So the tool we're going to use is the quick selection tool here. And that's located fourth tool down in our toolbars. It depends on how you have it set up. But if you're not seeing it, it is located under the magic wand tool. It's nested in with that. Right then, come on, magic wand tool. It's not there. We got the quick selection tool. With this, we're gonna use this to paint our head. What do they say? We want to set the size to 15 pixels. So with the tool selected, I came up here to the size, and I'm going to scroll that up to 15. And we can always change that as we go. And they want the hardness to 100%. The spacing will keep defaulted to 25 in those what we have there. So as I click away up here at this bar to have that go away. And the way this works is I start drawing with this. It's going to start selecting similar colors. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm not worrying about I'm getting some of the white there. That's okay. We're going to hopefully come back and get rid of that later. I click there. Now I let go of the mouse, and I'm going to click again, and I'll click again on his nose. Click on the shirt here. And the reason I let go, if I went too far, just like I just did there, because I'm clicking in succession and not one click, I can do Command Z, and it will just do my last click out of there. If I held down and did the whole thing at once and I made a mistake, then I have to start over again. Depending on what it is, not a big deal, but in this case, it wouldn't be a big deal. So what I'm going to do is going to hit Command or Control plus, zoom up. I work on a Mac, so I'll be saying Command, but every time I say Command, if you're on the PC, you know you're going to be pressing the Control key. Looking at it, it looks pretty good. Got a lot of this stuff in here. Maybe try to get that little bit of hair in there. I'll make my brush a little smaller using my bracket keys to the left of the to the right of the P key. Yeah, I grabbed all that, so I can do a Command Z on that. I do have gaps in here, right? So what I could do, and I'll try it. If I hold the Option or the Alt key on the PC and click, it takes away from my selection. So I'm taking out a little bit of that white in there. I'll just do that bit there. The book doesn't call for that, so just letting you know that if you want to deselect some areas, you could do that. Okay, so I have that, and now I'm going to look to refine this mask. Okay, now that we have this selected, what we're going to do is add a layer mask. And a layer mask is going to create a pixel mask in the layer 0 layer here. So down here at the bottom, down at the bottom of our layers panel, it says add layer mask. So click that. And what that's done is created a mask. So when you have a mask, everything that is black is transparent. Everything is white is opaque. Okay, so here we are. We're going to refine the edge of this mask. So to do that, what we're going to do is on our layer 0, so we want to click on the layer mask thumbnail. We have our layer thumbnail and the layer mask thumbnail. We're going to click on the layer mask thumbnail. With that selected, you see that white box is around it? See the white box changes? So now that white box is around it. We're going to go to Windows, Properties, open that up. So that was Windows, Properties. Brought this up. I have mine docked here, and that's icon for it. Now that this is selected, we're affecting the properties of this layer mask. We're going to refine it, so we're going to go to Mask Edge. And mine was already on black, but if yours by default was on this transparent, where we see the transparent checkerboards, and that to see how our mask is looking right now on black, we can see that. So we're going to choose that. And we can see that area there. So what we want to do is do a smooth mask edge to this, but we don't want to have a feathered mask. So on the smooth part, we're going to kind of move that up to 15. The book says to 15. And you can move this around and see what the different things, the contrast to about maybe 30, 40. See how that looks. And you can type in the numbers. The shift ed, they said a -8%. So you can type in that. We want to click decontaminate. No. And then what do they want to do? Contrast there. And then we're going to use our refine radius tool, which is here. So we hover over it, refine radius tool, expands the detected area. And I'm going to make this brush much smaller. Right now it's at 125. If I use my bracket keys to the right of the letter P, makes it smaller. And what I want to do is come along the face here and try to get rid of some of this white that's showing up on this area. But I'm not going to worry about the hair right now. I'm just going to do along the face. And the shirt area is kind of hard to see if I have anything. I can zoom up by hitting the Command plus or Control plus. Space bar to get the hand icon. Move over. Refine edge tool is selected. And as I draw with this, you see that it makes this white line. But if I let go, and you see that white goes away. Different. So there's a little bit of white underneath the nose. Yeah, kind of get rid of that. So we're working there, and there's white in the mouth. Let's see, I'll make it a little bigger. Come down here. Got rid of that on the chin. So I still got this little bit in here. We'll look at, maybe come back and see what we can do with that. Yeah, just a little tab underneath that nose. We're good there. Okay, so with that set, decontaminate colors, 85%, new layer mask, and then we're going to click OK right here. And it's going to create a new layer. This layer here, 0 copy. And now we're going to see if we can get rid of that white that was around the hair still. So we'll see what we have going on to do that. Okay, so now what we want to do is come in here and try to get rid of this grayed area, the white area that we're seeing here. Hit the space bar, come down here. We want to get rid of that. And we want to try to maybe bring back some of those strands of hair. We'll see what we could do regarding that. So what I'm going to do is make sure that my layer copy selected, select my mask, my layer mask here, the thumbnail, in the copy I just made, which is layer 0 copy. I'm going to refine the mask again. So I'm going to choose that. And what we're going to do now is look at this on white. So I'm going to come down here and on white, we have that. And they asked for a 300 brush. I think a 300 brush for me was a little too large because I was practicing with it. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to try a little bit smaller brush, but I'm going to drag out and I start to see more of these hairs start to come back in. And see a little more. We're seeing a little more coming up that way. You start to see how they're coming in and get that grayed area. And then I'm going to keep going here with that. Maybe a little bit more there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's see what we got going there. I'm going to use the space bar, get that hand tool, slide over a little bit. So we have that going. And I know there was some white in there, so I'm going to try to get it in there and then go back out this way. Get a little strands of hair coming out. But I want to keep going here. So I'm seeing a little of the hair sticking out there. Come along this edge, get some of those hairs to stick out. So what it's doing as far as the alpha channel, it's putting some grays in there and getting that to see. So getting the little strands of hair coming along right along the edge of the hair here. And come to, you've got the neck area there. Yes, it is kind of gray in that out there. Let me see, Command Z, take out some of that. And so, looking pretty good. I got some of the hairs coming back. Let's see, little there. That's about as far as it goes there. I'm looking at the tips of those. So now I'm going to look at it on black, because if I put on black, then I can see how much white is still left in between. So I got that chunk of white in here. And this is grayed out. That's the alpha channel that's working with the mask, with some grays and some whites that are going on. So if I go in here, see, I got rid of the whites. And so that's like the transition. It's not pure black. It's not pure white. It's getting that blend between the two in our mask. So let's see if I can maybe make this a little smaller using my bracket keys to the right of the letter P. There we go. Just a little bit here. See what that does. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. So as I scroll through this, that grayed area is okay. You know, maybe see a little bit on this edge. See what I pick up. Picked up a little more there. So now we have the eraser tool. So maybe we can try the erase refinements. And then with a smaller brush here, see if I can take out some of that. Yeah, I'm too Command-Z. Does that help that? Not so much in this mode. So I'm going to hit Command negative, or come back a little bit and take a look. And it looks like the white's there, but I think what I'm picking up there is just the thinness of the hair on the back, just as I am here. So I think this is going to look pretty good. Got a little bit of white in the glass there, but let me look at that real quick and see if that's something I want to try to get rid of. So I'm going to go back to my Refine Radius tool, this brush, make that really small, zoom up a little bit more. See if I can't get rid of that there. Yeah, a little graded out a little more. A little bit, just a little more in there. Alright, yeah, I think that's pretty good. A little bit along the eyebrow there. So now that I'm in this tight, I'm using my space bar to pan around. Seeing a little lip under the nose. This was bothering me before. I'm not sure if it's a tooth or something. There you go. Let's get that out. So coming in close, and yeah, I think it looks good. So with this, I want to decontaminate colors. I'll push it up to 85%, which they suggested. And where's some more? Yeah, 85 looks pretty good. Let's zoom out and see that. What that looks like. I'm zoomed out as far as I can go, so I can't move over. So let's just zoom up a little bit. Kind of take a look. Yeah, pretty good. What happens if we bring that down? What is the difference? See, you got that. That's what gets that grayed area. So if we bring it back up, see the difference when I turn that up to the 85, 86%. Kind of gets in there pretty good. So I think that should work. Decontaminate toes. I want to make sure it says new layer with mask layer, so I'm going to create another copy of that layer, just another version, and there we go. So got that. You know, this is the light from the camera shining back on there, you know, the lighting and that shot there. So now if we turn on our background, I think it looks pretty good. Okay, so we can compare to see what it looked like to start and what we have now. So have the background on, and we can see the hair, and it looks good. You know, we're not seeing a lot of white through here. Let's close this off. A little gray there, but I think that's the lighting setup they had, so that looks okay there. What we could do is to see that is we have our pixel mask here in this layer 2, which is our most recent copy that we made, and we want to turn this on and off and see what it looks like with the mask and without the mask. So if we hold our shift key and we click on this icon of the mask in this layer, you see that the X goes over, it goes off. So that's what it looked like. That's what it looks like now. So there's a few extra hairs going on up here that we didn't pick up. You know, we could try to go back to get some of those. You know, maybe you could. But for the sake of the video, I'm not going to. But, you know, maybe you could try to go back with that refine brush tool in that, as we did that last process, and see if you can pick up some of these hairs that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is clean up these layers we don't need. So I'm going to hold that one, hold the shift key, and select that layer. So now both these layers are selected. Down at the bottom we have our trash can. What do they officially call it? Delete layer bin. So we click on that. You sure? So it is nice that they I don't click that, but it always gives you delete layers. And you sure you want to do that? It's good safety. And yes, we do. And we'll save this. Now I had saved this initially as a layer 6 mask, but let me save it as if you were going to submit it. So what I would do is, this is LP4, my last name Ward Tom underscore L6 and masks. Well, we can call it that, masking channels, but I think it was 6. So there we go, got that going. So I'll save that. Now what we want to do, we want to turn the glasses to green. So we're going to use another feature called the quick mask. We're going to edit in the quick mask mode down underneath our swatches. And now these turn to black and white. And I'm going to zoom up, and Control plus or Command plus to zoom up, because what I want to do is paint around these glasses. The frame of the glasses we want to turn to green. Now, when I start painting with black, is the mask. It protects the area that we want to paint. So what we're going to do as we do this is paint this in black, because it's like we're protecting this area. So the part that could be affected would be everything outside we paint. After we finish painting and we get it to what we think looks good, we have all this covered, we're going to invert it. So then what becomes protected is everything but this glass frames, and so then we can affect and change the hue of the glass frame. So with being up close there, I'm going to choose my brush. Did they say in there? Select a small brush with a diameter 13 pixels. We want to make sure our brush mode is normal, opacity 100%. Did they say that? Yep. And then what we're going to do is start painting on there. So as I come in here, I'm on a brush mode of 5, but we could always change it. You know, I'm going to go in here and paint this edge. And as I'm painting, I could select there and hold the shift key, which I'll get a straighter line there. And then I want to try to go in here. Maybe I'll zoom up a little bit more and go in between there. So I'll come down here. And again, I can hold the shift key here, and it puts a straight line. So I click, shift key over here, straight lines it, and kind of come in here. So this red represents this old red acetate they used to use in printing to block things off and protect them. So actually, when we're painting with this black, we're painting the red and we're protecting. So what I'm actually doing now, so if I was to make an effect, it would change everything outside of the red. So I'm just going to keep going and painting here best we can. The brush has some gray in it. Because it's a brush tool, there is a little bit on the edges. Could make that a little bigger in this bigger area. And a little smaller, come in here and use my bracket keys again. And a little tricky in here trying to go around the hair. So we guys will go through there, we got that going. So now, last one. If I did too far, I can paint with white. White will take it away. So if I just switch it, I can switch it here or hit the quick key of X. See, it shows it and says that here. Let's bring that back up. Come on, there you go. Switch foreground, background color, X. So X is my quick key there. So I did hit X. And if I paint with the white, you see it takes away. So the black adds the red, the white is a kind of like your eraser of it. So I'll do a Command Z there, Control Z, back to where it was. I do have a little bit of in here. So I'm going to X again, so I'm painting with my color. Yeah. Stop. Okay, so for video's sake, that's good. So what I'm going to do is come out of my quick mask mode, and you see that that is all selected. Now if I zoom out, we'll see that what is really selected is everything but my glass frame. So let me zoom out by hitting the negative here. Zoom out, zoom out. And I know that because I got this marching edge around the edge there. So if I was to affect the hue there, so I'll go Edit, Image, Adjustment, Hue. And as I come up, if I wanted to change, let's just everything but the glasses were changed to that green color. So I'll do Command Z on that, cancel that. I want to go to Select, Inverse. So what I'm doing here is selecting now back to the glasses because everything but the glasses are selected. So I go Select Inverse here, have that. Let's see my quick edit mode. Now everything is red except the glass frame. So I just wanted to point that out. That's what's going on there. So have that. We can zoom up on this again. We talked about this maybe in another video, but we'll do it again. If I want to hide those dotted lines, these dotted lines going on, I'll do a Command H or Control H, and that should hide those. So Command H, it's still selected. Okay, so if I have my paintbrush tool selected, this layer is selected. I could turn this layer off so it's not in our way. And if I go to draw here, it won't let me. But if I draw here, it will. So I know it's still selected. I'm just pointing that out. Okay, so I have the selection hidden. This area that is selected. So I'm going to go up to Image, Adjustments, and I'm going to adjust Hue Saturation. And I want to turn this to a green color. So I'm going to move this up this way, getting a little greener, getting a little greener. I think they were going for a 70% green. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Kind of missed a little bit that area in there of the glasses. So again, for video's sake, I'm not going to go back and fix it. But if you're working on this on your own, I would like you to, take the time to go back and fix it and make those changes. And that's part of the process of doing this. You see, okay, it's there. It's a little bit, take you a little few minutes to go back and fix it, but it's done correctly. And so again, like for video's sake, I'm trying to get this out there to you, so I'm not going to stop and go, but it'd be a good idea if you got in that habit of going back and making those fixes and seeing how you can get in there and get those colors there. So this says 72. I mean, we can go whatever. That's 119, 90, yeah, like 90%. We can give them green glasses. Just pop them. 74, 75, and you can always type in the numbers there. Okay, so I'll hit OK. So we have that going. Okay, so we are going to work with the puppet warp tool. Easy for me to say. But one thing I forgot to do, I hid that selection. I forgot to turn the selection off. So right now the glasses are still selected. Remember, I did Command H, Control H, and they're hidden. So now if I put the puppet warp tool on there, it's only going to affect what's selected. So what I need to do is do Command H again, and shows that that is still selected. So that's selected. So to deselect, I'll do Command D or Control D, or I can go up here and select, deselect. But that's the quick key, Command D. That's what I use most of the time, Command D. So now it's deselected. The whole image is unselected. I'm going to go to Edit, Puppet Warp, and it puts this mesh around the character. And then I want to add pins. And I'm going to add pins along the whole shirt. I want to keep the shirt area still, and I want to bend them back from the neck up. So I'll start down here. I mean, it's not really necessary to go too far down here, but I'll start here. And I'm going to where the lines intersect to put my pins. So I have an intersection there. I'll go about here. There's an intersection. Okay, right there. Okay, and then here, here, intersection. here, let's see if I want that to be there. I'll put this one here. I'll stay in this inner collar. And come along to this one. And then I got the one in the back of the neck here, right there, intersection there. It's, you know, I'm getting a little crazy, probably a little too many. The book said about 10 pins. So I have all those. Now I want to come back and select this one pin behind the neck. So I'll select it. So I got that white dot in there. And then I'm going to hold the Option key or Alt key on the PC. I double click too many times. Put that pin back. And now it's selected. I get that. And now I'm holding the Alt key and I'm not clicking. And I have this rotation icon there. As you see those arrows pointing either direction, that indicates rotation. So as I start to pull on that, where the head is, where those pins are, stay still, and then the other elements move back. And in the book it said 135. Play around with it. You could do whatever you want. Okay, so I like it at 135, and we're going to accept it. So I'm going to come up here and choose accept right up here, and there. So we didn't like it, but we do like it, so we're going to choose select, and then we're going to move on to our next step. Okay, now that we have the guy's head tilted back, we want to create a shadow layer with this head tilted out. So in our layer mask, we're going to hold Command as we click it, and now reactivate the selection, and then we're going to fill that selection with black to create the shadow. So, and you can see that dotted line there as I hover over it. Command on the Mac or Control on the PC. We click it. See, now it's reactivated our selection. And before we do anything, we'll save the selection, create a new channel with that. So we'll go to Select, Save Selection, and then we'll call it Model Outline. And I do have to go back to name that layer 0, copy 2 as model. Give it a. So we'll create a new channel. So it created the new channel. We're not going to work with that channel right now, but we'll take a look at it. So we click on the Channels tab here. We look down and we see the new channel model outline that was created. We'll leave it alone. Go back to our layers. So we see it's still selected. And then I'm going to name this model, just do a little catch up. I should have done this earlier. We're going to add a new layer in between those, and that new layer is the layer that's going to have our drop shadow or cast shadow of our character. So reset the layer order. So because that layer is selected and we have the selection on the screen, that's where our shadow will go. So I'll name that shadow, and this layer is selected. So then we'll come over to the Edit Fill, and I'm going to fill it with black. I have choices of white, gray, foreground, background color. Pick any color, but I want to make sure it's black. Say OK. And it's filled in that selection on that new shadow layer black. We are going to refine the edge, so we're going to go to Select, Refine Edge. And I think I'll do that, refine the edge at 56%. I forget what the book says, somewhere in there. So I'll go Select, Refine Edge, and then on the Shift Edge, we're going to take that and move that up to about 56%. Or 36%. Let's go 36. Yeah, that's what it said. We're going to make sure the output is set to output selection down below there, and then after that we'll say OK. So it's going to the selection, that shift edge. So it softens the edge a little bit by doing that. Another thing we could use is a Gaussian blur in that case. You know, we would go to filter, Gaussian blur. I like to do that when I'm working with shadows, but this is good. And we're going to change our opacity here to 30%. So with that layer selected, we're going to move our slider down to 30%. You can type in 30% or you can use the slider. Then we're going to do a slight transform and shift our shadow over to the left a little bit. So to do that, we'll have that layer selected. We'll deselect. I deselected by Command D. So by using the transform, edit transform, you can affect individual layers. So we're going to use a skew. I'm not quite sure why they choose that, but we're going to do the angle here. I could type in minus 15 degrees up there on my angle icon. And there you go, slight rotation. And then we're going to use the x-axis up here on the left and scroll that over to 845. So just got that over there. We can see that we hide that edge. And we have that shadow going on. Let's get that soft edge from when we shifted the edge. We'll click it and say OK. We'll commit to that transformation. Turn the background and see how it's looking together. Looking pretty good. My shadow layer, I'm going to type that into 30% here. So I got that at 30 back to where I was playing around earlier. And then I'm going to select my model layer. And what I'm going to do is in my layer mask, I'm going to hit apply. So because I don't need it to be a separate mask where I'm going to affect it anymore going forward with the project. You know, maybe for that, what I'll do is I'll do a file save as it is now. So I have everything up to this point saved. I have it saved like this. And if I want to come back to this, I can. You know, file space, you might not know, but I do this. If I have this file space, which I try to always have, is to save versions. So I'm going to do this and save as and layer masks, and I'm going to call this number 2. So as I go forward, if I ever wanted to come back to this, I can. But what the book shows, and I might have missed reading it, I didn't read word for word, that we want to combine these into one layer to make that mask permanent in this image as it is now. So to do that, with that selected, I'm going to go to layer mask, and I'm going to go apply. So now I want to turn it into a CMYK. I'm going to go to image mode and turn it to CMYK color. So it's image mode, CMYK color, crimson, magenta, yellow, and K stands for black. So that's print colors. So you click that and don't merge. I want to keep my layer separate, so I'm going to choose don't merge. And we're going to do this profile, and I'm going to say OK. I want just the model layer to be visible. So if I come over here with the option click and click on the eyeball, if I click that, what it did is turn off the other layer. So now this is just the highlighted layer. I'm going to go to my channels, and I have these channels, the model outline, the one I saved off earlier, having the black. So the black channel selected, I am going to right click and duplicate channel, and I'm going to call it hair, and I'll say OK here. Turn off the black, and I have just the hair channel on. So we have that going. And then I'm going to adjust my levels. So I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, Levels, and slide this over. And well, they give us some specifics in there: 85, 1.1, and 165. So we slide this over to 85. So you see how black it's getting there. So we'll go 85, and this over to 165. So we're condensing our levels, and we're really getting that contrast in there to 165. So we have those. And then once we have that going, so you can see I made a pretty harsh contrast going on there. So we say OK. And then with this layer still selected, what we're going to do is do adjustments and invert. So we'll go to Image, Adjustments, Invert here, and what it's going to do is what's black is white and white is black. So boom, there we go. And then we want to select our brush tool, and we're going to make the foreground color black, and we want to paint out the glasses, everything that's not hair. If we're seeing a little bit of forehead in here, what we're going to do is going to make a selection of the hair, and we're going to adjust the color of the hair. But this is just another way of making a selection of all that hair and not the other parts of it. So what we're going to do is with our brush tool, which I have already selected, black is my foreground color. I'm going to make my brush tool a little bigger. I could zoom in a little bit, Command plus, space key over here. So that's a little bit of hair there. That's a little, I'm not really sure. I'm going to take that out. So I got that. That's the eyebrow going on there. Opacity I still have from earlier at 80%. I want to make sure I bring that up to 100%. So, you know, sometimes you've left the tool from a previous use and it's going to default back to your last use. So double check. If you see something not working right, I could undo, but I think this is going all right. So again, we have this area of the hair and that in there, and this is why I had it earlier. Plus it up a little bit. Brush it a little smaller. You know, is that going to make a difference? We'll find out. Why not try? All right, so I have that. It is loaded my channel as a selection. So with this layer picked here, if I come down here, this dotted circle is load channel as selection. So if I click that, it's did that. Now it's selected all my hair. Come back out to my layers. So we'll come back out to my layers tab. Select my model. Then I can do a command hide, command H, control H, hides all that. And then I want to adjust the hue saturation box. Quick for that is image adjustment is command U or control U to bring that up, but we'll do it through here. Okay, so I can't type in 230 as the book said, so what I'm going to do is move it down to 30, which is kind of looking all right in here. So I'll go to 30. So I'm turning the hair a little bluish. Green, orange. So we'll go to 30 here. And then we're going to bump up the saturation. We're going to bump that up in about 56. So you can see the color hue is changing there, 57, 56, kind of getting that purple, bluish color going on there. So what did they say, 56? Yeah. You know what, again, and don't have to go perfect with it. And then lightness, they brought up a 11, just get a little lighter. There we lighten it up, 25, you know, you can see what it's doing there. So 10, 11. Looks okay there. Then what I'm going to do is say OK, and then we want to adjust the levels again. So go image adjustment levels here, and with that I want to bring so the peaks underneath there, and bring the grays so they peak over here. And about 165. See how it's adjusting that there. Blue hair thing going on. So purple blue hair. Say OK to that. What numbers did they have? They have 58, 59. We want to turn on our different layers. We have everything there. Then I also want to deselect. And you know you are selected since I hid this selection and we've not seen it. But if I go to select and I say, do I have it selected or not? If I see if it says deselect, then I know something is selected. So deselect. We're good. We can do a file save. And we have this ready to go for the next step, which is lesson 7. So we're using this. So you're going to use this in lesson 7. We're finished with this lesson 6. So hopefully it was helpful, and we made it through it. And look for what I have for layer 7. I did a video last year, so I'll post that to the blog also so you can see that. Let me know if you have any questions as you're going forward with this.